Okay, a few more points about the toolbox here. The first tool, which is called the Move tool, means that if there is something on your screen that can be moved, you can use this tool to move it. So right now I'm on my background layer, and my background layer is always locked, so I cannot move anything. But if I click here to create a new layer, and let's say I make an elliptical selection here and fill it with some color, and Command D to deselect, I can now use my Move tool to place this wherever I want. Okay, now as you saw with the marquees, we make selections. You can even move a selection. So I've got a selection, I get my Move tool, and if it's empty, yeah, if I go on a layer which has got something, I could make a selection, sorry, and then move it around. Okay, now I moved it from my background, so I moved what was behind. So you see, there is the part I moved there. Let's fill this again. The Lasso tool has got three options. It's the freehand tool, so I keep drawing freehand, and when I release, it connects and makes a selection. So the quality of my selection depends on how stable my hand is, and it's not great for complex stuff. Then we've got the same thing, but with polygonal options. So this means I don't draw freehand all around, but I only click and define points. So I click and release, and every time I release my mouse, I make a new point. And when I want to close a selection, I can double click, or I can go and click at the beginning and close it. And thirdly, we've got the magnetic tool. So this means it will try, as it's got a magnet, to figure out by itself where there is something to select. So what this basically means is that it is trying to understand objects. So I'm getting the magnetic tool, and I want to try and select the yellow towel. Because the yellow towel has got significantly different color to its background and a distinct shape, it is in focus. If I click once, and now I release my mouse button, and I'm going to try and move around, I'm not making a big effort, and it's something that you need to do by yourselves, but as I'm moving around, it kind of sticks to the edges. So even if I try to go a bit further in, you see how it doesn't really allow me, or if I go out, it kind of draws me back to where I should be. Now it's not going to ever do, I mean, it will very rarely be a perfect job, because for example, if I zoom in more here, you will see that a bit of detail here is missing, but it's a good start. Now if I hold down the spacebar on my keyboard, my mouse changes to a hand, so now if I click and move, I can move around my picture. Now with this initial selection with the magnetic tool, I can go back to my freehand, and now as you can see, if I was to click, I would lose this selection. So if I try to add to the selection, I cannot just click here, because let's say if I click here, now I grabbed it to move it, but if I click there, now I have a new selection and my old selection is done. So I'm going to go back and undo that, so I get my previous selection. So how can I add, or how can I remove stuff from my selection? Holding down the Shift key changes my cursor to the lasso with the plus sign. So now what I draw will just be added to my selection. So I want to add this little corner here. I want to add a little bit there. Now spacebar. Oops. No, with this one, no, sorry. Now if I wanted to subtract, I'm going to press the Alt key, which changes to a minus sign, and I'm going to go here, and what I draw is subtracted. So I don't want this, I don't want this. Again, Alt pressed, and I draw around the stuff I want to remove. Now holding the spacebar, I can move further down Shift key to make it into a plus sign, and I'm adding. Spacebar to move down. If I am more or less satisfied with what I have, Command and 0 will fit my picture to the screen. So now, first of all, I make sure I am on the background layer because I want to copy this yellow towel. Edit, copy, edit, paste. Another option is to do Command C to copy, Command V to paste. The moment you paste something, it always creates a new layer for it. So now our layer 2 is the layer where the towel has been pasted. There is nothing to see on the screen because the towel has been pasted right on top of the previous one. But if I get my move tool and I move my layer, here is my copy of the towel. So I can go and just hang it wherever I wanted to. Okay. So that's one way to select things. You can use the magnetic tool from here and then tweak it and fix it a little bit better with the freehand tool and plus and minus to add or remove to the selection.